Let us look at this issue, of course, involving the feeding of Nigerian military personnel who are in the trenches, who are in the theater of operations, fighting bandits, fighting Boko Haram, fighting insurgency, fighting Fulani militias. Of course, this is not a good one. In a video I will allow you to watch shortly that show some military personnel who are complaining about the nature of their feeding. And that is not just all. You can clearly hear them say that they even contribute 60,000 per person. And if you look at the food item as you watch shortly, you agree with me that the amount they contribute, or rather the food stuff they supply them, is not incommensurate with the, of course, with the food stuff they supply them. And going to the fact that they are even using their money to even feed themselves while fighting for the nation is another thing of concern. But watch the video as we come back to further this conversation.
1 month for no, the sea problem. For 1 month, now only 5 fish. 9 for 1 month for 10 people, for 9 people for location.
Now, don't pack this pot. As if we don't start cooking.
But Mona show. Imagine. This one now, Gary. Gary. One pint of Gary. 1 pint of Gary. 1 pint of Gary for 10 people. For 9 people. See beans. Gentlemen, Mona see beans. Mona see beans. Beans. 1 pint of beans. Open this in for me, guys. See.
For how many people?
1 pint of beans for 1 month. See potato, we don't spoil. The onion, see potato. Only potato. Potato. See granite, greasy red oil. Where they two this in one what do they call them? 1 liter. 1 liter. Now they call them. See the onion. See 4 pieces of yam for 1 month. 1 month for 9 people. For location, see onions. What do you see? See.
The month for 1 month.
See some for 1 month. 1 bag of some. See. Now onions. See onions for 1 month. 1 whole month for 60,000. See my bag of rice. See. They carry this one. Say more to use and they drink water. More die with water. See pot. See only pot and this one and bucket. Now say more use and they kill ourselves. More just they do ourselves. Don't worry. See the same more fry. More they fry their grandfather. See what in the same more fry. Now be potato. Potato for 1 month for 9 soldiers. Now be this one. And they collected 60,000 naira for soldiers. How about that? These soldiers 60,000. These soldiers 60,000 for 1 fee. Gary.
So how do you watch that video? I think it becomes surprising that number one, why should military personnel who are fighting on behalf of the people be using their own money to feed themselves? It's a big question. Another issue that the question that is begging for attention is, I hope these military personnel will not be punished for coming to the public, for letting the world to know what is happening. Because I understand that the military authorities have made it very clear that they are laid down procedures through which the military personnel could channel their grievances instead of going to the public. I'm not disputing that, because in every profession there are their modus operandi. However, I think I should plead with the military authority not to punish those personnel, because I think it is out of frustration that they did what they did. And again, what is happening have a way of affecting the morale of the military personnel who are in the field. What is happening to them have a way of affecting their capacity to fight. What is happening have a way of course, making them not to bring out the best in them. Because ultimately, what is happening can affect their psyche. It can even lead some into depression. Because number one, we are thinking of how to fight insurgency, banditry, name it. And you are equally thinking of how to feed yourself. Perhaps the food stuff is not enough. You can clearly see how they complain that even the foodstuff cannot take them for the period for which they are meant to use it. Talking about 1 month, according to the voice we heard in that video. So we're going to show that the government must do better. One, two things stands out. I think the government, as a matter of urgency and necessity, have to improve in the way and manner they give and supply, talking about foodstuff. And secondly, the idea of the military personnel who are in the battlefield, who are, of course, in the war front, who are in the various theaters of operation, paying or rather feeding themselves with their money, I think is not a healthy one. It is not pleasant to the ear. I think the government should look in that direction and see how that can be addressed. And another issue is the government, because if they are not comfortable in terms of their welfare, there is no way they can bring out their best. Because to be quite honest, these are people who have already laid their life for the people. So if their welfare is not taken care of, you're going to wonder. That is why Nigerians were even asking. The time, of course, I'm not saying that those ladies who brought honor to Nigeria should not be given award and should not receive a monetary compensation or other award. But Nigerians are equally asking, if the government could give them that amount of money, talking about $100,000 each, which translates into about 150 million per person. What now stops federal government through Nigerian army from giving adequate health care, adequate welfare to the men and women who are in the trenches, who are in all the theaters of operation, fighting insurgency, fighting banditry, and all of that? So I think the government, as a matter of urgency and necessity, must look towards this direction, and I hope they will not be punished for coming to the public. But again, this brings to the another issue that has to do with rejigging of our security architecture for better efficiency, particularly integrating the locals, traditional rulers, into the security arrangement, because it has been established that all crime is local. To that extent, if the locals are integrated, I think we'll get a better result. Because number one, when it comes to issue of intelligence gathering, the locals may not be willing and interested or have the confidence to divulge some level of information to security agencies, perhaps because they don't trust them. But if the locals are integrated by a way of amending some relevant section of the Constitution to give them a role to play, I think it becomes easier for the locals, who of course have confidence in their traditional rulers, because we all know that traditional rulers are like moral standard for the people. They, of course, the people relate to them easily. So it will be easier for them to divulge such actionable intelligence information to the traditional rulers, who in turn share such with relevant security agencies for better efficiency, or rather to even nip crime in the bud. I hope and believe that the government will actually learn with this, but ultimately there's every need to rejig our security architecture, because the information, or rather the opinion that came from the Director General of DSS, talking about Ajayi, cannot be emphasized, where he made it very clear that going forward, that the locals should be empowered to be the first line of defense in case of invasion. Of course, he gave examples in the past how that was achieved in two localities in the north, in the northern part of the country, and the way it is. I understand that the federal government has since initiated the idea of forest guard, where they equally advise state governments, or rather directed state governments, to recruit between 2,000 and 5,000 personnel, depending on their financial capacity to pay. But it is worrisome that so many months, or rather after some few months after the directive, we have not seen serious action on the part of the state governments in recruiting or enlisting personnel in that regard. So I think the state government, the local government, the federal government should synergize to expedite that move. Because for me, that directive, or rather that initiative, needs action of speed of light. Because for me, life is sacrosanct. We cannot continue living in an atmosphere of fear and rancor. Because what is even happening have a way of deterring investors, particularly foreign investors, from coming into the country to invest. Because no investor wants to bring his money into an environment where there is insecurity. We note with serious concern the issue that came from Zamfara recently. Of course, a situation where some persons, about 50 persons, were adopted, ransom demanded, I think 1 million per person. A situation where 30-something persons who could not raise the ransom were disallowed one after the other. I think it's a serious concern. But again, I think if you look at the lives of Toji Bello, the lives of Ada Aleru, who operate in that axis of Zamfara and Katsina, the government, as a matter of urgency and necessity, must rise to the occasion and do something about it. I understand that the government has since said through the army that they have neutralized Toji Bello's cousin, of course, who doubles as his operational commander. And I understand that at the time, Toji Bello was suing for peace. But the point is, as it stands, Toji Bello have not been arrested, he has not been neutralized in the battlefield. And for me, the army, as a matter of urgency and necessity, must do something serious. It's either he's arrested, bring to justice to act as deterrent to others, or he's taken out in the battlefield to act as deterrent to others. At this point, let us go on the street to get the reaction of Nigerians, what they are saying about this. Because I know that Nigerians have diverse opinion on this, and their opinion matters in our analysis. Thank you very much as we get the opinion of Nigerians on the street.
Thank you for having me on this wonderful channel this morning. It is quite unfortunate that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has worsened the whole situation. Before 2015, we thought it was bad for Nigeria. But Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC, right from 2015 up to this very moment, has proved to us that we did not see anything before 2015. As I tell you now, you are asking me this question today, just yesterday, Bola Ahmed Tinubu wake up because all he does now is to share the national money the way he likes by giving $100,000 to the Super Falcons that just won Morocco 3-2. And if you convert $100,000 to Naira now, it's 152 million per each. The crew members are there, the coaches are there. Not only that, he also gave them 3-bedroom flat. And Nigerian soldiers who are defending us in the bush, look at the way they do. In Lagos now, Nigerian soldiers are now dragging pack with Agberu in order for them to survive. You blame Nigerian soldiers because Nigerian soldiers also have bill to pay. They pay their children fees, they pay their house rent. In what kind of country do we have? And I said this when Bola Ahmed Tinubu was contesting, I was proven right. Because you cannot give what you don't have. Bola Ahmed Tinubu at this event is always carrying few politicians around to share the national cake to them, for them to obey him, and that's what he's doing. As I speak to you, when he was the governor of Lagos State, go and check it. What was the development of Lagos State? All he does is that he raised people like Fashola, like Ambode, he empowered them. But average Yorubas in the Lagos State, what did they benefit? It's the same thing he's doing in Federal. Look at the houses that queue behind him that make him president today. The same houses are throwing stone on him. Is to tell you that the life of Nigerian soldiers are at risk. And that's why you see when it is time to recruit new soldiers, people have lost interest in joining Nigerian soldiers. Because if you tell me, if I have somebody who wants to join Nigerian soldier now, I will tell you, did you consider it? How much is the salary? Is it worth doing? Go to America. If you hear somebody say an American soldier now, it's with high respect. How do you justify to me that somebody who served his father's country for good 35 years, they are paying him 2.5 million? And have you not heard that Nigerian retired police are protesting in Abuja? Now, the guys who just spent 90 minutes in the field, I am not discrediting what they achieved. They achieved wonderfully. But the achievement they achieved for themselves. As I speak to you now, these guys, they are earning in dollar before that match. They play for clubs. And them winning the Africa Cup of Nations is to add to their profile because many bigger clubs will come for them. Do you get it? Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if he would have removed that money from his pocket, as the wife told us that his husband, they are rich, they don't need Nigeria money. But he's the first president in Nigeria that removed subsidy instead of to invest that money in our education, in the health sector, into infrastructure. Rather, he used the money in government, he used the money for party, he used the money the way he likes. Can't you see today, Nigerian governors, they are all queuing behind Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whether they are APC, whether they are Labour Party, because Bola Ahmed Tinubu is sharing the resources for them. It's to tell you that Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not have Nigeria in heart. It's only stay there in that place just to achieve that he was once a president. For mind you, in case if Yorubas who are watching this my video, you say I hate Yoruba. How do we hate Yoruba? Obasanjo was the president of this country. He was from the southwest here. If not Obasanjo, if the way the Tinubu is ruling this country, if that is the way Obasanjo rules this country, with Buhari will have Tinubu will have the country to be president of. Do you know our debt profile? You remove subsidy. You supposed to still be borrowing money. You see the way they hate Peter Obi. Obi, I have told you people time without number. Obi is the most clean guy among them all. Obi have the integrity. But you see, maybe by mistake, if Obi become president of Nigeria, I told you that Obi will not spend more than 2 years. Obi will be impeached. Because Obi will not spend this money for politicians. Obi will want the masses of Nigeria to be okay. Obi will want to develop our hospital. Obi will want our education system to be okay. And the politicians, they will gang up, they will impeach him. Is Bola Ahmed Tinubu now ashamed of himself that Buhari died in London? Yaradua, if I'm not mistaken, died in London. Yakubu Gowon, which caused us what we are today. I've said the time without about those who want to hear, let them hear. It was not the Ojukwu that caused the Biafra war. It is not the Igbo that caused the Biafra war. The person who caused the Biafra war was Yakubu Gowon. Yakubu Gowon caused the Biafra war because they went to Abu Record in 1967, January 5th to January 6th, and they have an agreement that Nigeria is going to be a regional government. Don't forget that Ojukwu saw the future of Nigeria. He knew that this thing will happen in Nigeria at time to come, and Ojukwu advised Yakubu Gowon as the head of state there. In 1967, January 4 to 5, they were in Ghana and they signed that accord. The moment they came to Nigeria, Yakubu Gowon allowed the British to brainwash him. And Yakubu Gowon break the agreement they have in Ghana. Don't forget that Yakubu Gowon was the head of state then. Ojukwu was representing the southeast. Bolaji Johnson was representing the south. Usman Castina was representing the north. They agreed. But when Yakubu Gowon came, Yakubu Gowon was brainwashed that if he allow what Ojukwu forecast for Nigeria, the central will be too weak. And that's how Yakubu Gowon fought Ojukwu. That was what led to Biafra War. Biafra War started in 1967, June 6. Now if you look at it, it's 6 months interval. Just because of that single act that Gowon did not allow. That is what caused the Biafra War. The Biafra War lasted from 1967 to 1970.
But if I may come in here, Mr. The Waymaker, we understand that the time they protested in Nigeria, talking about the NSAS protest, one of the demands of the protesters was the welfare of Nigerian police. Just like you cited, retired police personnel protesting in Abuja recently, talking about their welfare. Does it mean the government of Nigeria is not interested in the welfare of the police, the army, of course, of the welfare of the men fighting in the battlefield?
Are you not shocked that Nigeria police now are now the one buying pepper for politicians' wives? They now send Nigeria politicians. We have seen it in the video. It's on the public domain where they are holding their bag. In fact, I saw this popular actress. What is her name? I've forgotten her name now. Where Nigeria police was busy running, jogging, following with guns. That is the level they have pushed our police. But I don't pity Nigeria police. That's why I come Omorecho, which I respected so much, a man which I honor, that you don't fight for Nigeria police. They deserve what they are having. Because when we come out to protest against these old takers who are taking upon themselves to destroy this country, it's still the same policemen they use. They use their tear gas, they give us straight bullet, and they do all these things. And that's why you can see average policemen in Nigeria today, they serve without no achievement.
Okay, now looking at this insecurity, because there was this belief that Buhari could not fight it because the Fulani militias are from the same ethnic extraction with him. Now we have a Tinubu who is from the south, in the saddle. And there's a belief that if a Fulani man becomes the president, it will be difficult to fight this insurgency. What is the hope of Nigerians in the event that an Atiku becomes the president come 2027?
There is no hope for Nigeria. I've kept saying that, I'll tell you without number, Nigeria, wake up. If you are still on your comfort zone, you are still sleeping, you are calling one Nigeria, you are deceiving yourself. All we need to do now, I am not interested in a constitutional review. I'm not interested in the INEC chairman, whether they are giving us Southeast or giving anything. That is not the solution. The only solution to Nigeria problem. I told Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023 elections, even before 2023 general elections, I said if you bring Angel Michael from heaven to come and rule this country Nigeria structure, Angel Michael might likely fail. He will fail because the structure is bad. The Bible said, if the foundation is being faulty, what will the righteous do? The righteous have to destroy the foundation and rebuild. Currently, as we stand, Nigerian foundation is faulty. But what our own takers, our leaders are doing is to be building on the faulty foundation. And that's why you see that the foundation, the building cannot stand. Right? What we need to do now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in all honesty, in all you will do, if you want to stay that position forever, I don't care. But give us regional government. But in case, if the Northerners don't want you regional government, divide this country, let everybody go. Let me round this thing up in this particular issue, is that look at UK. UK is comprised of 4 states, four different countries. In UK, we have Wales, we have Scotland, we have England, we have Ireland, something like that. 4 of them that make 4 in UK. The same UK who is telling Nigeria that one Nigeria we should not divide. How many countries from UK? Can't you see that these people, they intentionally are brainwashing us? They have turned us to slave. In Southwest here, I give it to them. Southwest are the most educated people in Nigeria. They have good doctors, they have engineers, they have all this thing. All of them have moved to UK. The same hospital where Buhari was paying heavy money, now Nigerian doctors is sticking them there. Are we not slavery? I will shock you with this, that in France, it's in the public domain. Go and Google it. Since when Abraham Traoré started following the template of Mazen and the Tano, as I tell you now, when did you hear Macron last? Macron is like a cold water now. I've told people that the only continent that is surviving most of this Europe country are Africa. Now, since Burkina Faso have cut away from France, DR Congo have cut away from them, Algeria have cut away from them. I can tell you many villages in France now, they don't have lights. It has never happened before. Go and check it. If you are watching this video and you feel maybe I'm exaggerating, I'm breaking false this thing, go and check it in France right now. If you have anybody in France, many of their towns now does not have light because Africa have chipped away from them. If today Nigeria will wake up that enough is enough, we go by regional government, we divide this country. We can even still be in one Nigeria where we have Biafra nation, we have Yoruba nation, we have Arewa nation, we still be in one country. Nobody will now hold us. Can't you see the way these Fulani men are killing my people in Benin, killing my people in Taraba, killing my people in Plateau, and the Nigerian soldiers are there, Nigerian police are there, they are waiting to collect order from Abuja, and people are dying on a daily basis. So if we go by regional government, nobody will wait for order from Abuja again before we do anything. As I round up with this, whether you agree with me or not, Nigeria is not one. You can see the shenanigans that is happening in Lagos. Where Charlie Boy, popular activists in Lagos, his bus stop that even before we were born, we met it, now has been changed. Many people are confused. All what these people are doing is to try to jam our head together. Election is coming. Omo Igbo, don't do this. Omo Yoruba, don't go and vote for Omo Igbo. That is the only thing they want to achieve. If you doubt me, have you ever seen where Igbo senators, Yoruba senators, they have conflict in the in dividing the national cake? They won't have it. But when election is coming, they know the way to come and join our heads together to make sure that they have their way. The only thing where they are keeping to have dominion over us is through religion, is through tribe, and that's why the country is getting worse on a daily basis.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.